Check. The Daily Reflections for April 15th, the bondage of resentments. Harboring resentment is infinitely grave, for then we shut ourselves off from the sunlight of the Spirit. It's from As Bill Sees It, page 5. It has been said, anger is a luxury I cannot afford. Does this suggest I ignore this human emotion? I believe not. Before I learned of the AA program, I was a slave to the behavior patterns of alcoholism. I was chained to negativity with no hope of cutting loose. Whew. Ain't that the truth? The steps offered me an alternative. Step 4 was the beginning of the end of my bondage. The process of letting go, starting with an inventory. I needed not be frightened, for the previous steps assured me I was not alone. My higher power led me to this door and gave me the gift of choice. Today, I can choose to open the door to freedom and rejoice in the sunlight of the steps as they cleanse the spirit within me. Okay, some of my favorite topics here. Resentments. Resentments are the number one offender. And then talks about step 4. It talks about slavery. I was a slave to the behavior patterns of alcoholism. I was chained to negativity with no hope of cutting loose. So, right before I got sober, and then even during my sobriety the first time around before I relapsed, I was just negative all the time, cynical. I just thought the world was terrible, people were terrible. I was not in a good headspace. When I relapsed though, and I came back, I was really not in a good headspace. But when I got to do the steps over again, it was step 4 where I had the most aha moments. And those aha moments really came from talking about instincts in step 4. Instincts is used 19 times in step 4 and the 12 and 12. The steps offered me an alternative. So when I think about instincts and I think about how I react to the world, it tells me that if I'm not working a serious program, if I'm not maintaining my spiritual condition, then I'm going to revert back to my instincts because doing the program is not natural for me. It's quite unnatural. So if I don't keep doing it, I'm going to go back to how I was. And how I was resentful, negative, cynical, because of ego. Because I am resentful, I am cynical when I think people aren't doing the right things. And when I think people aren't doing the right things, that means I think I'm God. I think I'm in charge. I think I know how people should act better than they know and better than God knows. The process of letting go started with an inventory. I used to walk around having an idea of who I was and how I acted, and that couldn't be further from the truth. The thing I love about AA and the 4th step is it's tangible. It's not based on how I feel about myself or someone else. It's about what I'm putting down. What are my behaviors? What can I hold on to? What is measurable? Because feelings aren't measurable. But it's very easy to measure behaviors and actions. Anger is a luxury I cannot afford. Another part says anger is the dubious luxury of normal men. And I'm not a normal man. Of course I'm going to get angry. But how I deal with that is really a result of the training. I call it training, right? The training that I got in the program. There was no quicker way for me to relapse than being pissy, angry, and cynical at everybody else. It was just a matter of time. And being angry for me is a good litmus test about how much in faith am I? Where's my head at? Because generally speaking, I like to be in the business of doing what I think is right and leaving the results up to God. And if I'm not in that headspace, chances are I need to do a little bit more work. Need to pray. Even the Serenity Prayer deals with all of this. Acceptance, actions, wisdom. That's it. Don't worry about the stuff you can't control. I think it's telling that in most groups that prayer is done at the beginning of every meeting. Every meeting, which means alcoholics aren't very good at it. All right, I gotta run. Happy April 15th, everyone. Like and subscribe.